Hi, how's it going? Hello. So, if you follow me on Twitter, I put this on Twitter yesterday and said that is genuinely the best thing I've ever written. It's all downhill from slide 2. I'm so proud of this title, like the rest is rubbish. But my name is Jonti Sparrow. Hello, you. That's how I start my YouTube videos. My name is Jonti Sparrow. It genuinely is. A couple of frequently asked questions I get a lot. It is my real name. I have no idea why. I can only assume my mother lost a bet or something. There's actually a lot of pros and cons about being called Jonti Sparrow, but we'll talk about those a little bit later on. There we go. My mother lost a bet. See, it's all scripted. It's okay. So who am I? Why am I here? I'm a influencer, content creator, YouTuber. They're all horrible terms. I wish we could come up with a nicer one, but that's what I do. I run a channel called Geekism. We do Let's Plays focusing mostly on tycoon and simulation games. I'm also in the process of launching a startup with my wife that does guided meditation for insomnia sufferers. Now, obviously, I'm going to be talking about the former, but if this talk does make you start nodding off, maybe you could check out the latter. A couple of numbers for you. Geekism currently has just over 37,000 subscribers, approaching 6 million views, with approximately 15,000 views per day. So who am I? I'm a fucking nobody, to pardon my French, but that's kind of the point, okay? For the next 3.5 hours, it's going to be my job to try and convince you that it should be a bigger part of your jobs to deal with the nobodies. So what we're talking about is niche influencers. So when I talk about niche people on YouTube, years ago gaming was a niche on YouTube, but then YouTube had a massive shift where they stopped caring about views so much and started looking at watch time. It happened about 6 years ago, and that's what really brought the rise of people like PewDiePie and Markiplier and people like that. And it's what saw the death of things like animation being really popular on YouTube as well. So if you remember, like Magical Trevor and Salad Fingers just disappeared, it's because it took people a month to make 3 minutes, whereas Let's Players could crack out an hour and a half worth of content every day. So that's what YouTube really shifted towards. Gaming no longer being a niche, and now you have to go more sub-niche with gaming into specific genres, and even further than that. Today we're talking about channels that have somewhere between 5,000 and 150,000 subscribers. The ones on the right here are towards the higher end of that number, and they're all within my vertical, so these are people I watch and enjoy and have conversations with. You're looking for channels that have a smaller but an active viewership, and the main key thing there is being active. A lot of channels who grew with things like Minecraft have kind of struggled to move on from that game, so necessarily don't have massive active viewerships. And obviously you're looking for people who've got specific genres, so either they play just games that you make or play games similar. And the most important thing you're looking for is none of the above, because this is such a grey science. There are going to be channels with more than 150,000 subscribers who are no good to you at all. There are going to be channels with less than 5,000 who actually can end up being really, really useful. One of those we're going to talk about in just a second. So I'm going to try and give you a couple of real case scenarios of reasons why it's really useful to get your game into smaller content creators' hands. The first one is Planet Coaster. I know we have a Planet Coaster community manager in today, so I'm going to say lovely things about it. Case number one, the creator we're looking at is called Delay Designer, and she is the hype machine for Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster kind of grew my channel as well. It was my big breakout game. I don't really want to talk about myself too much, so we're going to talk about Delay Designer. It came out in November 2016 by the Fantastic Frontier Developments. They've got lots of Elite is probably their big title, but they do a lot of other games that sort of led towards Planet Coaster, most notably Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. When the game came out, Delay Designer had 150 subscribers. That was it, 150. But she was incredibly active on their community. She made videos of the stuff she was making. She's very good at the game, which kind of helps. And they got in touch with her along with a few others and basically built brand ambassadors out of them. They sent them to Gamescom, isn't it? Not Gamescon. They took it to Gamescom along with Rudy Renkamel, Silverette, and a few others. A lot of these people still make content now. She now has around about 30,000 subscribers, but still puts out Planet Coaster content all the time. They get her on live streams, they get her in the community newsletters and things like that. One of the main things that Frontier do to really sort of harness this is they get us early access to their DLC previews. Pretty much Planet Coaster's had a paid DLC come out every 3 months since the game launched. Very similar to Sims DLC. It'll be a pack with a few hundred items in that they can place down into if you don't know, it's a theme park creating game. I'm sure you've heard of it. A few hundred items that they can put down into their theme parks. The most you get out of Frontier will be a post on their forum saying the DLC is coming. They might do an hour-long live stream showing off some of the highlights. But that's not enough for a lot of people. A lot of people want to know exactly what they're getting in the pack. They want to see every single item. That's probably too much work for Frontier to do, and also it might not be where they want to sort of focus their time as well. So they let us do it for them, basically. If you go onto YouTube and notice I'm not signed in here, so it's not my numbers sort of messing with it, and you type in Planet Coaster DLC, the first 5 videos are all mine. There are much larger YouTubers who make videos on this stuff, but because this basically pays my mortgage, I spend so much time getting these videos right, and pretty much it goes back through the 5 DLCs that they've put out: Vintage, World's Fair, Studio, Adventure, Spooky. And that video is basically 20 minutes of me placing down every single item in there and showing it off. And as you can see, the numbers are pretty good, much better than they should be for a channel my size. And it's kind of become a thing now that you go and watch the Geekers video on the new stuff when they do a DLC. And that's all because they've harnessed these smaller people who can be bothered and have the time to do videos like this. They have much larger content creators within their sort of package as well. Flavaliki is one that comes to my mind, but you know, Planet Coaster for him is a 20-minute video every few months, and whereas it's my bread and butter, so I put a lot more effort in. So yeah, hype machines, really good. Number 2, 2 Point Hospital. I'm not doing this just because Lauren's here, but 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point Studios nailed the niche influencer thing. They got it so right. Specifically with Blala, who I think has around 2,000 subscribers or something like that. In the YouTube scheme of things, it's tiny, but that's not really that matters. It came out in August 2018, had a great launch. It was Steam #1, like still is, I think, probably. It's like the biggest game ever. Made by 2 Point Studios. They made some old school, awesome type. Well, they didn't actually. The people who now are 2 Points did. The main thing they did here is they found some very specific genre-specific content creators. They got in touch with them, or in some ways just listened for them. I myself just emailed Lauren before I knew it was Lauren, about a year before the game came out, and I was like, I'm a tiny YouTuber, but I really like Theme Hospital. Can I please come and play your game? And sent us down to Sega Europe. Got us able to get some footage. The key thing with 2 Point is that numbers weren't really important, and it was just content creators who were passionate about the game was more important about X number of views or whatever. The main one there being Blala. I mean, I don't know what numbers she had when they first got in touch, but like I say, she has around 2,000 subscribers now, but she has become the workhorse of 2 Point Hospital. She still now puts out a daily video of 2 Point Hospital. She live streams multiple times a week, and she sets up the 2 Point Wiki. The wiki looks like this. There are currently 344 articles on it. I'm pretty sure written entirely by her. She's basically doing your job for you. Now, I know that wikis are usually community-led anyway, but there is no way that all of this information about that game, going down to the minutiae detail of Dr. Perks and all things like that, and she's wrote that because, one, she loves the game, but also she feels loved by 2 Point Studios. There's no denying it that she's done this because she feels that she's being useful for them. So things like that, secondary content is great for content creators to do, especially the smaller ones who have the time and inclination to do it for you. And the last one we're looking at, this is quite a new addition. It's only happened last week. Azili is an awesome Twitch streamer, and a game came out. It actually comes out today into early access, called Above the Fold. It's a tiny little game made by one. They haven't got a logo. This is a Newsy from the Disney's Newsies musical, because he's fabulous. And the game comes out. It's a guy called Rasmus Rasmussen, who wins the award for Best Name in Game Dev. And he approached Azili specifically, and said, hi, I see you're a content creator who does creative simulation stuff. Above the Fold is a newspaper simulator, by the way. You have to sort of drag the stories onto the page and stuff like that. And also, she's relatively political and speaks a lot about politics, so it's kind of perfect for her. And because he went to that amount of research to find the perfect content creator for her, she became a brand ambassador. She did a live stream on it. I think she did an hour before her usual set. I think it's like Sims and City Skylines is her usual stuff. But played it for an hour. Rasmus sat in that chat. That's not him. I keep pointing at him. That's not what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like. He sat in that chat for an hour and answered every single question that people put. And improvements were made on the game based on that live stream. And then he sent a personal thank you to Azili. I've actually got a message. She very kindly let me to put these up. So this is off the game's Discord. Alpha 6.3's live changes are based on Azili's stream today and include the following fixes. Now, I don't know what your guys' workflow is like, whether you can get a patch out based on a stream earlier that day. He's actually done another one of these since, because I did a first look video on YouTube, and another patch has come out based on the feedback I give. So the fact that we're basically being beta testers for him. And when a live streamer plays your game, you're not getting one beta tester, you're getting 70, 100, so however many people are watching them at a time. So that's really important. And he sent a lovely message back saying, first time it had ever been seen by people, and instantly, because of this, and because she took the time to work with a smaller creator, isn't it? Makes a full-time living doing it and does it well. But the fact that he got in touch with her, she then got to me and said, you need to play this game, this guy's awesome, you need to play. So I'd never heard of this until Wednesday, and there's now a patch on the game today because I played it, which is a pretty crazy thing. So there's a couple of examples why smaller content creators are really worth your while. How are you going to find these smaller content creators? Don't worry, we'll find you. That's true. These people are already trying to get in touch with you. Check your emails, check your spam folders. We're there. We're putting the effort in because we realize we're smaller. We realize people aren't going to find us. We have to find them. There are other ways of doing it, though, if you are looking for specific content creators that are going to really help you out. Fortunately, legwork is the only way of doing it. You're going to have to sit and go onto Twitch. You're going to have to sit and go onto YouTube. You're going to have to watch stuff. You're going to have to watch a lot of rubbish, probably, until you find the guy or girl who suits you. There are a few tools that can help. I may well be telling a lot of you how to suck eggs here, but just in case you've not heard of them, Keymailer is a great one. Basically, Keymailer is influencers can sign up for an account. Game devs can sign up for an account. And influencers will bid for a key on your game. Not monetarily, they'll show how many subscribers or regular followers they've got, and then you can use that. Now, unfortunately, it does work with hard numbers, but all these sort of conglomerate things are going to. So again, this is going to have to be put back into some legwork to actually go through them as well. Sullynome is a really great website that I think maybe some of you haven't heard of. Basically, Sullynome is for Twitch, and it gives you every number you could want for Twitch, basically. Specifically, what I think is a really good thing is it will tell you content creators playing certain games by hours streamed. So, for instance, if you're making the next tower defense game, and please tell me one of you are, because we need a new tower defense game. If you're making one of the things you could do is go to Sullynome, look up Plants vs. Zombies, for instance, and see who's playing it. Now, if you just look at views or amount of time watched, you may get somebody like Sips, who's a huge Twitch streamer who may have played Plants vs. Zombies for an hour 2 years ago. But even still, he'll probably be top because at the time he'll have had 5,000 to 6,000 people watching. But if you go to hours played, you might find a guy who's played Plants vs. Zombies for 500 plus hours. And as long as his viewer rate isn't 0, you can guarantee that that guy's got 10, 20, 30 people who are obsessed with Plants vs. Zombies and therefore obsessed with tower defense games in general. Really good way to really find a nice core audience you can get your game out to. And then, of course, social media, subreddits, forums, Facebook groups. Influencers love telling people they're influencers. So if you go to a subreddit that's based around your genre of game, you can guarantee one of the top 20 posts will be somebody saying, I play this kind of game, come and look at my channel. So that's a good way to start up as well. A couple of ways to approach smaller content creators. Again, you can't really go wrong here. By nature, they're very glad of being talked to. But there are a few things you can do that are really going to help you. Personal email. This is the main one. If I get an email that says, Chair Simulator, coming out 2019 is a new game, but I'm not really probably going to read that. If I get one that says, Hi Geekism, Chair Simulator comes out, then I might read a paragraph. If it says something like, Hi Jonti, I see that you are a big fan of Table Simulator, and we have a game called Chair Simulator that comes out, I'm getting to the end of that email, okay? There are lots of other things you need to do in there, but demonstrating knowledge of the channel is one of the best things you can do. If you can, providing early access is really good. Influencers love getting things early. They love being the first one out there. But also, more so, especially with these smaller niche influencers, it's very often a secondary side hustle for them. They have a day job. So if you can get them a week's early access before the embargo lifts, they can maybe play it on a Wednesday night when the kids are at karate or something, and they can get their video ready for you. Embargoes are fine. We are more than happy. If you can tell a smaller content creator, shh, you can't talk about this until next week. They love it. We feel so special when you can give us an embargo. There's nothing better than saying, I'd love to tell you about gameplay, but I'm under embargo. Honestly, we'd laugh that sort of stuff up. Content creator compensation is an awful topic. I hate having to talk about monetary value, but really, compensation could be so much more as well. Very rarely are you going to be paying people to make videos of your game. If somebody comes back to you and says, I'd love to play your game, it's going to cost you this much, there are better ways, free ways of doing it. I personally make my living doing this, and I don't think I've ever just made a video and got paid for it. There are other ways that money can get passed across, but really the main things you should be looking for. Extra keys is great. If you can give 3 out over 1, 2 to be given away, that's really good. Free stuff. For smaller content creators, free stuff is great. If you've got t-shirts, don't bother sending them to Yogscast. They'll go in a bin in the corner most likely. Send them to the small guys. If you send me a t-shirt with your game on, you can guarantee I'm going to tweet about it and run with it, okay? You send me popcorn, I'm going to tweet the shit out of that, okay? Any free stuff is really, really good for smaller content creators. The main one is press kit. And again, I'm sure you've all got press kits. The subject of press kits could be a whole other talk. I'm going to specifically point out a few things that are going to make press kits better for video content creators. This isn't just small guys either. This is just a few general things that it isn't very often I get to stand in a room full of game development people and talk to you about this. The first one, the main one, the huge one that I can't believe I have to tell people, the logo. Okay, it's so important. I made it red and I made it bounce in. I've never used PowerPoint before this week, and I learned to do that. Here is 2 examples. I don't know how well you can see this. On the left is a small game called Atomic Society. It's basically like Fallout City Builder after the bombs have dropped, so you're going to come back. It's in early access at the moment, and they provided a bit of a press kit, I think, that was mostly screenshots with no logo. No logo. We want a nice high-res logo, PNG, and you can see there, look, the first one, Sky Storms pretty much just wrote it. I made one that looked like I thought it probably should. Corellis has just used a screenshot, etc. That 4th one down, that's the actual game logo. And the only version they had was like a tiny little JPEG on itch.io, I think. On the right, again, this isn't a budget thing, this isn't a size thing. This game's built by one guy, Megaquarium. He provided a really great press kit that included a nice high-res PNG logo. And again, you can see I'm first and second. Oh, it's getting embarrassing. Look, first and second result on there. Also down there. I'm not just doing this slide. Isn't just to show you how good I am at YouTube SEO, by the way. As you can see, I'm pretty fucking awesome at it. So you can see just by providing a logo, you're getting your brand out there through these YouTubers. None of us were told to use it, but if you make it easy for us to make a nice thumbnail, we're going to run with it. A few other things. B-roll footage is great. If you can get half an hour of footage to send to us, screenshots are less important. I find still that most press kits are really aimed towards print media, or like websites like Rock Paper Shotgun and things like that. More and more people are getting their opinions, they're getting their reviews from video media. So a bit of B-roll footage can be great. Again, music tracks, I can understand there might be some licensing issues there, but if you can get me a title track, I'll use it in my video. Otherwise, I'm going to Epidemic Sound and finding something that fits. It's all just ways of getting your brands through YouTubers and through influencers. And then PNGs, again, characters, items. You give me high-res versions of stuff. You can guarantee that I'm going to use it in my thumbnail. All right, so not just titles. These are just a few examples of nice press kits we got, and we were able to use that stuff and just get that brand out there. Especially that middle one. When 2 Point Hospital came out, that's just what YouTube looked like. Like every fucking used that picture of that dude. It was like every video. So quick summary then. By nature, smaller content creators have more investment in their game. They're going to work a lot harder for you. You're going to get a lot more returns that aren't just viewer numbers, although usually the numbers can be pretty good as well. Think bigger picture. Think about having them there as ambassadors for your brand. They're most likely already there. You just have to look. So again, these people are going to be getting in touch with you. Just take a little bit of time to look for them. Providing them with as much as you can will result in better brand focus. And Jonti Sparrow is a weird name. It really is. There are pros and cons about being called Jonti Sparrow. The main con is nobody is called Jonti Sparrow. My life is a Starbucks coffee cup, right? I've had Jonti with a double A. I've had Jonti with a Y. That's not too bad. I kind of let that one slide. Jonti with an extra H in there. Chonti I got once on an email. That was pretty good. Jaunty, get that one quite a lot, actually. John T, like I'm an awful DJ or something. The often auto-corrected but never noticed joint. I get that all the time on emails. The best one I ever got, and I kid you not, this was from a letter from a counsellor who I'd only ever spoken to over the phone, and the letter came to a Mr. Jonti Sparrow. The text hasn't worked there. Jonti Sparrow. Who's called Jonti Sparrow? Well, I don't know he's called Jonti Sparrow either. The only pro about being called Jonti Sparrow is nobody is called Jonti Sparrow. So if you did enjoy this talk and you want to see more from me, you can find me at info@jontisparrow.com. I'm on Twitter at Jonti Sparrow. I'm on Instagram at Jonti Sparrow, LinkedIn Jonti Sparrow, and Facebook Jonti Sparrow. Thank you for your ears. Enjoy the rest of your day.